California Angels in Detroit Tuesday night to take on the Tigers. Pick it up in the bottom of the first inning. This is Lloyd Mosby with the bases loaded. Mosby belts a triple to center field over Max Venable's head, scoring Tony Phillips, Travis Fryman, and Cecil Fielder. This gave Detroit a 3-0 lead. RBIs number 40, 41, and 42 for Mosby. Mosby later scored and made the score Detroit 4-0 after one inning. Then in the bottom of the third inning, Lloyd Mosby once again with the Tigers leading 4-1. He belts his 12th home run of the year, a solo shot to right field. Detroit led 5-1. Then in the top of the fourth inning, the Angels get a run back. This is Dave Winfield belting a solo home run to the upper deck in right field, his 15th of the year. Detroit led 5-2. Then later in the top of the fourth inning, bases loaded, 2 outs. This is Luis Polonia at the plate. Tony Phillips robs him of a base hit. This ended the top of the fourth inning with the score still Detroit 5-2. Then in the bottom of the fourth inning, Dante Bichette going after a Tony Phillips fly ball in right field. Well, Bichette slips and falls. Phillips gets a double. Phillips would later score on a sacrifice fly by Alan Trammell, and the Tigers led 6-2 after 4 innings. And 6-2 would be the final score. Dan Petrie would pick up the win. Here he gets Dave Winfield striking out in the top of the 5th inning. Petrie with the win improves his record to 10-9. Moving now to the top of the 9th inning, Edwin Nunez on the mound for the Tigers. Here he gets Lee Stevens looking for the final out. Nunez gets his 4th save. The Tigers defeat the California Angels 6-2.
Bottom of the 2nd inning, Texas gets a gift. Runner on first, and Jeff Schaefer blows the double play ball off the Gary Green grounder. Pete Incaviglia scores. It's 1-0 Rangers. Top of the 3rd, in Seattle, rookie Tino Martinez will pick up his first 2 RBIs as a pro. This single over Green into left field scores Schaefer and Greg Briley. It's 2-1 Seattle. A nice defensive play by Texas left fielder Pete Incaviglia. Omar Vizquel with this blooper into left field, but Incaviglia is there to make the running and diving catch. We'll take another look at it. Pete Incaviglia is playing some good defensive work in left field. Bottom of the 4th inning, and the Rangers would tie it up. Jeff Kunkel will come up with an RBI double. Julio Franco will score. Kunkel doubling off the left field wall off of Seattle starter Randy Johnson. Julio Franco comes in to make it 2-2. Dave Alley would break the tie, giving the Mariners a 3-2 lead. He will hit a solo home run, his 5th of the season, off of Texas starter Charlie Huff. RBI 26 on the year for Valley. It would be 4-2 Seattle, as they would add another run in the top of the 7th, also off of Huff. Henry Cotto will drill this single into left field, scoring Alvin Davis from second base, and it is 4-2 Seattle. A Ruben Sierra homer would make it 4-3. The Rangers would threaten in the bottom of the 9th. A man on first, Kevin Reimer, up this deep drive to center field. Houston around, looks like he's going to score, but Valley blocks the plate, applies a tag. Seattle wins it 4-3. Randy Johnson picks up the victory. He is 12-7. Charlie Huff taking a tough loss, drops to 10-9. Schooler picking up his 30th save.
Thursday night, Jeff Torborg, Tony La Russa, and Davey Phillips check out the rain-soaked infield at Comiskey Park before the White Sox game against the Oakland A's. In the top of the 1st inning, Mark McGuire lined a shot into left field. Yvonne Calderon makes the catch, but Carney Lansford comes in to score. Lansford had reached base on an error, and that made the score 1-0 Oakland. In the top of the 2nd inning, Darren Lewis, who is playing in his first Major League game, got a single in his first Major League at-bat. Then in the top of the 4th inning, we'll see Sammy Sosa make a nice play as Terry Steinbach hits a single to right field. Sosa runs over in the wet outfield and then throws to Ozzie Guillen, who dives to tag Steinbach out at second base. The score was still 1-0 at the time. Oakland threatened again in the top of the 5th inning. They had runners on first and second with 2 outs and Jose Canseco at the plate, but Greg Hibbard struck out Jose Canseco to end the inning. Mike Moore, meanwhile, was cruising along with a shutout through 5 innings of play. Here in the bottom of the 5th inning, we'll see him striking out Frank Thomas. So the score was still 1-0 Oakland after 5. In the bottom of the 6th, Moore gets a little help from his right fielder Felix Jose. Yvonne Calderon hits a fly ball to right field, and Jose makes a nice sliding catch in the wet grass. In the bottom of the 7th, things didn't go so well for Oakland, however. The bases were loaded with Rick Honeycutt now in the game, and Carlton Fisk came up as a pinch hitter and hit a ground ball double down the third base line. That scored 3, making the score 3-1 Chicago. Then Ozzie Guillen came to the plate with Steve Lyons now into pinch run for Fisk at third base. And Guillen, you'll see momentarily, bunts down the third baseline. Lyons comes in to score. Guillen is thrown out at first base, but the score was 4-1 Chicago, and that turned out to be the final score. Here we'll see Bobby Thigpen getting Willie Randolph to ground out to end the game. The final 4-1 Chicago. The winner Hibbert is 10-7. The loser Moore is 10-12. Thigpen picks up his league-leading 41st save.
Pitchers making their major league debuts Tuesday evening in Kansas City. Jim Campbell for the Royals. Paul Abbott starting for the Twins. Abbott would yield the game's first 2 runs as Willie Wilson singles to center field, scoring Kevin Seitzer and George Brett. RBIs 39 and 40 as the Royals took a 2-0 lead. Campbell would yield his first run in the top of the second. Carmelo Castillo, RBI number 6, as he singles to center field, scoring Brian Harper as Minnesota trails 2-1. Abbott would settle down in the bottom of the second, retiring the Royals in order and getting veteran Bob Boone here with the looking K, his second strikeout of the evening. But in the third, the Royals would score 2 more times to make it 4-1. The fourth run coming on this Danny Tartable bloop double down the right field line, RBI 43, as Brett would come in to score to give the Royals that 4-1 lead. But in the top of the fourth, the Twins would tie it at 4. Dan Gladden providing 3 runs with this home run number 5, RBIs 29, 30, and 31. Campbell giving up his first Major League homer. We are tied at 4. But in the bottom of the fourth, the Royals explode for 4 runs. A go-ahead run. This one, Bob Boone to Nelson Lariano. He throws it away over to Gary Gaetti there. Frank White allowed to score 5-4 Royals at that time. It would be 8-4 by the inning's end. Top of the fifth, and the Twins are coming back. This pinch hit Randy Bush single into right, scoring Castillo would make it 8-7 Kansas City. And that would be your final. Kansas City winning it 8-7. Jeff Montgomery pitching 2 scoreless innings to pick up his 18th save. Steve Crawford goes to 5-2, getting the win in relief. Abbott takes the loss, dropping to 0-1.
Tuesday night in Milwaukee, Tom Trebelhorn and the Milwaukee Brewers are hosting the Cleveland Indians. Ron Robinson is on the mound for the Brewers, and near in the top of the first inning, he ends the inning by striking out Deion James looking. Then in the bottom of the first inning, Milwaukee gets on the board. Jim Gantner has a 10-game hitting streak going, and he lines a single into left center field. This will score Paul Molitor and make the score 1-0 Brewers. It gives Gantner 19 RBIs for the season. Dave Parker came to the plate later in the bottom of the first. Gantner is now on second base, and Parker hits a ground ball single to right field that scores Gantner, making it 2-0 Brewers. Parker has 75 RBIs for the season. Now moving to the top of the fourth inning, Candy Maldonado hits a ground ball right through the legs of Gary Sheffield, Milwaukee's third baseman. That goes for an error on Sheffield, and that made the score 2-1 Milwaukee as Jerry Brown comes in to score. Then in the bottom of the fourth, Rob Deere hit his 24th home run of the season, a solo shot to left field. That made the score 3-2. Cleveland had come back to tie the game, but Deere gives the lead back to Milwaukee. In the bottom of the sixth with the score 4-2 Brewers, Dave Parker hit a solo home run to right field. This is his 16th home run of the season, and it gave Milwaukee a 3-run lead at 5-2. But in the top of the eighth, Cleveland came back. Jerry Brown hit a 3-run home run to right field. This scores Fermin and Coles and ties the game up at 5. For Brown, that's home run number 5 this season. The game remained tied into the bottom of the ninth inning. Greg Brock came up with 2 men on and 1 out, and Brock hit a single over the drawn-in outfield. That scored Darrell Hamilton and gave Milwaukee a 6-5 victory. The winner was Plesac. He's 3-5. The loser, Ward, is 1-1. This was Sandy Alomar's reaction to the Cleveland loss.
The New York Mets in San Diego Tuesday evening to take on the Padres. Pick it up in the bottom of the first inning. This is Tony Gwynn facing Ron Darling. Gwynn singles to center field, scoring Bip Roberts, giving the Padres a 1-0 lead. Then Benito Santiago lines a triple to right field, scoring Roberto Alomar and Tony Gwynn, making the score San Diego 3-0. RBIs number 39 and 40 for Santiago. Santiago would score later in the inning, and the Padres led 4-0 after 1 inning. Then in the bottom of the second inning, Roberto Alomar at the plate, still facing Ron Darling. Alomar lines a double to left field. This scores Bip Roberts. Then Kevin McReynolds makes a weak throw home. The ball gets past Mackey Sasser. This allows Roberto Alomar to score. 2 runs score on the play, giving the Padres a 6-0 lead after 2 innings. Then in the bottom of the 3rd inning, Phil Stevenson lines a single to center field, scoring Joe Carter. The Padres led 7-0 after 3 innings. Then in the top of the 4th inning, watch this play by Joe Carter. He takes away a base hit from Howard Johnson. A great catch from Joe Carter. Moving now to the top of the 9th inning, this is San Diego Padres starter and winner Ed Whitson. He would go all the way for the shutout. Here he gets Darrell Boston for the final out. The Padres win 7-0. Ed Whitson the winner. He's 10-7. Ron Darling gets the loss. He's 5-8. Once again, the Padres defeat the Mets 7-0.
Howe looks on as the Astros are in town to play the Pittsburgh Pirates. In the top of the 3rd inning, we see Randy Tomlin, the young Pirates starter, striking out Rafael Ramirez. Tomlin was shutting out the Astros through 4 innings of play. And in the bottom of the 3rd inning, Jeff King hit his 9th home run of the year. This one a solo shot to left field off of Danny Darwin, the Astros starter. King has 35 RBIs for the season, and the Pirates had a 1-0 lead after 4 innings of play. In the top of the 6th inning, Bill Doran erased that lead with 1 swing of the bat. Doran hit a solo home run to center field. That tied the game up at 1. This is the 6th home run of the year for Doran. Andy Van Slyke didn't realize that the ball went out of the park, but it was in fact a home run. The score remained 1-1 until the top of the 8th inning, at which time Eric Yelding came to the plate with Franklin Stubbs on second base, and Yelding hit a single into left field. That scored Stubbs, making the score 2-1 Houston, and that turned out to be the final score. Danny Darwin went all the way for the Astros. Here in the bottom of the 9th inning, we see him striking out Bobby Bonilla on a pitch on the outside corner, apparently. And then Darwin will get Mike LaValliere to fly out to left field to end the game. This is the 2nd complete game of the season for Darwin. The final score, 2-1 Houston. The winner, Darwin, is 9-1. The loser, Patterson, is now 8-4.